Doncic-Irving combination has worked in Dallas. It took time. The Mavs have searched for the right star player around Doncic and tried with Kristaps Porzingis, who is now with Boston. Dallas acquired Irving from Brooklyn at the 2023 trade deadline, but the Mavs missed the play-in game and the playoffs. This year, Luka and Kyrie proved everyone wrong, especially Stephen A. Smith, who recently had a change of heart regarding Kyrie. The analysts neglected both of them over the years, but it seemed they finally got to him. Without further ado, today's video will be how Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving exposed Stephen A. Smith. The Dallas Mavericks traded for Kyrie Irving in the hopes that it would give them a better shot at competing for a title, and instead, last year they missed out on the playoffs. There had been a lot of debate on who was to blame for their messy situation, and Stephen A. Smith said it is certainly not Irving.
And I don't have a single negative syllable to utter about Kyrie Irving. He is not the problem in Dallas with the Mavs. He's averaging 26 a game, 51% shooting from the field, about 37% shooting from three-point range. He's a reliable offensive weapon in the fourth quarter. He has brought to Dallas what you brought him to Dallas to do. Luka is the one, dare I say, that has a huge question mark hovering over him. And it's nothing statistical. Luka gets 41. They lose a game. Luka's not only depressed after the game, he looks depressed during the game.
And this was last year. Smith upped the ante this season. Before the start of the season, Smith said Tatum was the better player between the two. On an episode of the Club Shay Shay podcast with Shannon Sharp, ESPN's Stephen A. Smith joined the show as a guest to discuss a plethora of topics, including why he believes the Boston Celtics' Jason Tatum is a better player than the Dallas Mavericks' Luka Doncic.
I saw Jason Tatum drop 46 in a closeout playoff Game 6 in Milwaukee. I saw Jason Tatum handle his business in a Game 7. I've seen a young Jason Tatum, who ain't even 27 years of age yet, be a primary option on a team that's going to 5 conference championship games, championship series, and an NBA Finals.
First off, it seems as if Smith's memory is selective, as he apparently doesn't recall Doncic massacring the top-seeded Phoenix Suns in Game 7 of the Mavs 2022 second-round series to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Doncic had 35 points in that game, leading Dallas to a 57-27 halftime lead, and he didn't even have to play in the fourth quarter. When comparing individual accolades, Doncic has 5 All-NBA first-team selections to Tatum's 3, despite being a year younger. Doncic also holds career postseason averages of 31.1 points, which is second only to Michael Jordan on the all-time list, 9.4 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and 1.6 steals while shooting 46.1% from the field and 35.7% from deep. Tatum holds postseason averages of 24.1 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 4.8 assists while shooting 44.3% from the field and 34.9% from deep. Sure, Tatum has been to a handful of conference finals and 1 NBA Finals, but he's also had a lot more roster talent to work with than Doncic has had over the last 5 years, and also hasn't had to shoulder as much of a load. Where Tatum has spent his entire career growing along his co-star in Jaylen Brown, Doncic has only played a little more than a year alongside his first true co-star in Kyrie Irving. Analyst Brian Windhorst is not a believer in Stephen A. Smith's theory about the Western Conference Finals. Smith has repeatedly attempted to argue that Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards calling out Kyrie Irving is a major reason for the Dallas Mavericks taking a 3-0 series lead. Windhorst downplayed the impact of Edwards, saying, "I got Kyrie" before the series.
That's considered trash talk? I mean, that's why they're up 3-0. It has nothing to do with the Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic relationship that has been building for 13, 14 months now. It has nothing to do with the play of the rookies coming together. It has nothing to do with the midseason trades. It has nothing to do with Jason Kidd's game plan. It has nothing to do with the symbiosis of the two guards working together in crunch time. him saying, I got Kyrie? Otherwise, what, Kyrie was not going to play in the series? Was he just going to say, you know what, we had a great season, I'm just going to opt out? He said he's got me? No, now I'm going to play. I mean, I understand that we like trash talk, and I don't want to dismiss it. And I understand Stephen A. hypes up a series more than anybody, but come on. I hear Luka Doncic say 15 worse things to the opponent in pregame warmups than I got Kyrie.
Factual.
Windhorst's pushback against Stephen A.'s narrative seemed to earn the longtime reporter some favor among viewers on social media. No matter what you attribute it to, the Mavs beat the Wolves in 5 games. Irving, especially for Stephen A. Smith, remained a focus of media speculation and conversation despite some questionable messages. While discussing various NBA topics on ESPN's Get Up on Friday morning, Smith had a message for Irving.
Respectfully to Kyrie Irving, who doesn't want us talking about him, don't play basketball. We talk about basketball. Nobody's talking about his personal life. Nobody's talking about the tweets from months ago. Nobody's talking about all the things that he's gotten himself involved with headline-wise or whatever. Kyrie Irving is a good dude that's smarter than people give him credit for and all of that other stuff. But I do think it's utterly ridiculous for him to be telling people, don't listen to them. Well, why wouldn't they listen to us? We're just talking basketball. We're prognosticating about where you could potentially go. Nobody says they know or anything like that. Kyrie Irving seems to be offended by us saying 1 + 1 = 2. It is not disrespectful to talk about you, Kyrie Irving, a superstar basketball talent. It is not disrespectful to talk about you playing basketball. That's all anybody was talking about. Where could Kyrie go? That's a crime now? Come on, bro. Only him seems to be somebody that would take offense to that. That makes no sense.
Irving responded to one of Smith's rants about him, as he questioned Irving's desire to play basketball. And there's a further history of friction between the two that goes back multiple years. And in a notable turn of events, Stephen A. Smith has publicly extended his apologies to Kyrie Irving, acknowledging his previous critiques of the NBA luminary's actions both on and off the court. When it comes to Kyrie Irving and Stephen A. Smith, there is a lot of history between them, and some of it isn't good. Several years ago, Stephen A. was extremely critical of Irving and his decisions regarding the COVID vaccination, anti-Semitic media, and personal issues.
Kyrie Irving obviously has gone through so much. You look at those situations, you just found yourself saying, damn, this is a bad situation. It's really bad. And Kyrie's name was all over it. And then he lost the sneaker deal and all he had was basketball.
Recently, Kenny Smith spoke at length about the past conversation he had with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith acknowledged the former NBA champion's perspective and ultimately agreed with him. He admitted that Kenny Smith was correct about Kyrie and himself sharing mentors.
It wasn't until Kenny Smith placed that call to me that I had to look at myself differently, because he reminded me of those numerous people that raised Kyrie. They also influenced me. And when I talked about Kyrie in the fashion that I talked about him, it wasn't just a reflection on him, it was a reflection on them. And when I looked at it that way, it gave me cause to pause. But I was wrong. And for Kenny Smith to tell me that, it hit home in a big way. I'm glad that Kenny Smith told that story. I'm glad that he said what he said, because it was 1,000% accurate in the exact context that he said he spoke to me.
Guess he finally admitted to being wrong with his ridiculous rants. On the other hand, Kyrie and Luka have continued the production in the playoffs, each scoring 36 points in the decisive Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, marking the 4th time in this season's playoffs that they have each scored at least 30 points in the same game, an NBA record for a backcourt duo in the same playoffs. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing NBA content.